Hello and welcome back to the skating lesson with Jonathan Beyer. Jonathan, the ladies' event is coming up. It is a very big deal in America. It is the only discipline we historically care about, although people are suddenly
Exactly.
very into this Meryl Davis winning.
No, well, they should be.
What
Yeah.
nationality is she? Is she winning the gold? What's going on? But
We'll take her. We'll take her.
let's discuss the ladies' event, because by the time they will compete, it will have been a long time since that team event. What are you making of the competition? Yuna has arrived. There are videos of her practicing. We've seen Yulia. We haven't seen Adelina skate, but we have seen Mao. We've seen Ashley and Gracie. I don't know where Paulina has been. What is your take and what is your prediction for next week?
Okay, my dream is that Gracie delivers,
Mm-hmm.
and that she somehow sneaks in for some sort of bronze medal. And at the end of the Sleeping Beauty, I'm going to be the fat little fairy Merryweather changing her dress at like the end. Remember at the end of Sleeping Beauty? She looked so solid in the team event, and I feel like that could have been very nerve wracking. The fact that she left Sochi is a great thing. It obviously worked for Dennis 10.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this seclusion and working with Frank, and I hope it does the same for Gracie. Yeah, you want to go by skater or you want my whole spiel?
I want your whole spiel. I mean, I think
Okay.
that I agree with you about Gracie. I think that the Olympics are all about momentum. And I actually
Yeah.
think that, like Jason Brown, she could be very good for U.S. skating in this post-Olympic tour, at least for getting some butts in the seats, because Gracie is currently in all of the commercials. We see her in Visa. She is delivering
Skating
mimosas.
down the aisle of the United
Yes, which
Airlines.
is
Yeah,
such a great. Ashley must be so pissed she's not in it.
I
But,
know.
but I think the good thing about Gracie is that she seems like she's really starting to learn how to compete. She used to be more of an up and down skater, and I know that she and her old coach used to butt heads a bit before she moved. He's very Russian and combative, as they tend to be, and I think that she's a strong personality, but it seems like her preparation is more even
Right.
right
There's
now.
a calm. There's a calm to all of it that's really
And a
reassuring.
confidence that's coming out,
Yeah.
perhaps that wasn't there as much before. I expect her to do well. I think she'll be top four. I think that she really could sneak in for a medal. I don't think that she's one of the skaters. I know people are like, no, Mao has to be on the podium, and this one, and these ones. The Olympics are about performing, as we saw
It's
in...
not a lifetime achievement
Yes.
award. I mean, and if it was, I would like to see Mao up there.
Yeah.
But my Mao is from 2010.
Yeah.
You know, it's not from 2014 with under-rotated triple axles that she's falling on in the
Under-rotated
short
double
program.
loops on that
Well,
combination.
I mean, I think the team event in this particular situation may have hurt her because it was just one more nail in her coffin about dinging her
Yeah, I think it
on the
kind of
technical
showed
side.
the way that this is splitting, and I think that there's obviously an opening for Gracie to medal because she just does.
She
look
needs help,
solid.
I think, in order to do that, and she has to just remain solid. But I think it's not just in her control. But I think Mao's in a rough is in a rough spot. And at the beginning of the season, suddenly Mao was back as one of our gold medal favorites, and the judges were bumping her up, and they've sort of let that shift. So
They have different people to put ahead, and she has opened the door. She opened the door as the season went along. It started to sink, especially by Japanese nationals. And then this team event, I think, cemented the fact that her time may have passed. She really has to perform extremely well. And
it would be great. I would love
Yeah.
for her too because she is a sentimental
and
favorite,
she's
and
a
I
fighter.
do
It
think
could
she's
happen.
great. Yeah.
It could
Yeah.
happen. I don't predict that it will, but you never know.
Right.
It's such a deep field. And unfortunately, it might not be enough at this point because
Yeah.
if any of those jumps are under rotated, if that triple axel fails her again,
And again, it's that now they're looking for it.
Yes.
You know, with the unit program, they don't know what they're looking for. And with Mao's program, they know exactly where it'll happen.
I think
And
for
if-
Gracie, I predict that she will do well here. Medal, no medal. I think that she will go on to the World Championships, and I think she will medal there at Worlds. I think she's someone that will also benefit from doing the post-Olympic tour. And then hopefully Lori has this moment where she's like, girl, we're going to open you up artistically, and we're going to figure out what your emotional makeup is.
Because Lori didn't get this long. This is still the Marina long with some tweaks. And the short program did take a big step.
And now they have a level of trust that Lori did something and it worked and Frank's advice worked. So she'll probably be more open when she goes working with Lori again. Hopefully there are better programs next year, and
To
that
be
she
had,
will.
but it's a process. You know what I mean? Again, this is a girl a lot of us just met at last year's nationals. So I think that the amount she's come so far, and I think judges noticed that too. She popped onto the Worlds last year. They're like, oh, pretty good.
Yeah.
And then they saw her. She had a couple of wonky Grand Prix,
She
but to
often
see
does in
her
the
keep
fall.
coming back stronger and stronger, and the ability getting better, and the jumps getting cleaner, and the programs becoming more sophisticated, I think they are noticing and they're responding.
I do think that she
So I
does
don't.
have
Yeah.
world champion potential. I think that it's
Oh,
going to
yeah.
take some work, certainly artistically, but I do see her being in the. If you look at who is set to retire, I don't think that Lipnitskaya's jumps are going to last, and I think that
And that flexibility can't possibly last like that for forever either.
no. And I think that you look at who's going to be. Can she compete with Adelina Sotnikova? I believe that Gracie can. And, if Mao retires and Suzuki retires, and who knows what's going to happen with Kanako, there's an opening for a
Right.
medal. And I
Right.
think that she's someone who actually is going to be at the forefront if you look at who is set to retire.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, Yuna and Yulia are the two names that everyone is throwing around for the gold.
Now, do you prefer Yulia with a Y or Yulia with a J?
Well,
I
don't
think
like
Phil Hirsch said
change.
yeah.
So I've been spelling it with a J, and now it's
Okay.
with a Y, and it's kind of like with Yuna. Like, is there a hyphen? Is there not a hyphen? And now she has finally set the spelling. Are
That's
you
right.
Kim Yuna Kim? Like, what are we calling you? Girl
Exactly.
with the sick triple Lutz triple toe.
That's right. That's right. Oh, Gracie? No.
It's funny the coverage of Lipnitskaya. They talk about they're saying, like, do you spend all day with your coach in this interview? And I was reading, and she's like, no, we would kill each other. I spend my day with my mother. And the mother goes, yes, and I measure everything that she eats. And like, it seems like they think that her time is limited. Like, they seem like they are
They're
trying to
aware
get
of
this
the
gold
limitation.
now.
Well, you know what? Then she's planned it just right, because she
Yes.
really is peaking here too. She's never looked this solid.
Family, they move from Yekaterinburg to Moscow. They sell everything, coach says, and they measure. Mother measure what she eating. It's wonderful, she going do well. And I'm like,
She can go do Paris now. Yeah.
yeah. She
I mean,
could skate with Larionov. Maybe he'd win a medal.
I mean, it's you see a disconnect in a way that, in a kind of focus that you didn't see with any of those boys, men, whatever.
They get in that zone.
And I feel like, but now the other thing is, again, with this team event, what did it happen? 8 months ago, it seems like? There's so much time in between. How has she spent that time? Yeah. The pressure's probably become greater. Is she in the village? I don't know where she's staying.
She went back to Moscow.
Oh, good.
To train.
Good. So we'll see. I don't know. I think it's between her and Yuna for the gold.
Yeah.
Which I can't even believe we're saying that. But I think the team event, as we continue to assess its validity or success or whatever, as these individual events happen, it can predict quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she would have had so much momentum going into the singles event had she not been so solid in the team event. I think the team event has really helped her. Yeah, and the judges and the public now know that. Yeah. And she became such an important part of the conversation that she really wasn't before, I felt. I don't know.
Well, I've been saying it for a while. But
I know you have. Smarter than me.
No.
But it wasn't here, though, until I realized with the percentage of the threat that she was. So it's exciting. I'm really excited because these are women that I feel will, or hope anyway, that they will deliver on a consistently high level, as opposed to our fragile orchid men over here that just sort of disintegrated before our eyes.
And one thing is that Yuna Kim showed up, and now she's in the mix. It was interesting, her practice. People were freaking out that she popped 3 jumps in her practice session. It wasn't in her run-throughs, and it was interesting. She popped those jumps, and then she went and repeated it and nailed it. It had like a perfect landing, and it was her first practice.
She's practicing? Come on, everybody.
No one is perfect in practice. I think, that she just seems very together. She keeps saying that she's not focused on the Olympic gold, that she just wants to do her best. And I think, that is a good mindset to have. I don't necessarily believe. I believe she wants to win, but I think
Well,
that
of
if
course,
yeah,
but I get that. Sometimes people make fun of the skaters that say that. Of course, you want to win. Yeah, I know they want to win, but if their focus is only on a finish, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, because she knows if she goes and delivers her best,
well, I think
it's
Hanyu and Chan were focused on the finish and look at how their performance. You have to think through the process to get the result. So
right.
it's interesting. How do you think the other American ladies will do?
Again, Paulina, if everyone's like, what do you think of that girl? And I was like, what girl? Oh God, yeah, Paulina. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really know. She has that kind of focus, but she did at nationals again. So it's hard to say because I don't know enough about her as a competitor. She wasn't like sweeping every event she competed in on the junior Grand Prix. So, I mean, the Olympic pressure's got to be something else entirely. But again, I feel like she'll probably deliver. I think it's up to the judges how they decide to reward her or not. I don't know that. I don't think she's really a factor in the thing. I think Ashley, we're looking at like a solid 7th.
Yeah.
I'll be intrigued to see the new long. But from what we've heard about the way it was constructed, I don't think any of us are really expecting some high art. I think for her, she's trying to make another meme and ride it as long as she can.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's from a PR point of view, she's working it right.
Yeah.
We all know that like facial expression. Speaking of facial expressions, and this has nothing to do with the ladies' event, but when Hanyu finished the short program and Brian Orser wasn't sitting with him because he had to put Javier on the ice, there was a Japanese coach official that was sitting with him, and there is a still of the two of them getting his record-breaking score, and Hanyu is like doing like this fist thing.
Her face
and this
is everything.
woman is amazing. I wanted to be my new Facebook profile. I put it on Twitter, on Instagram. I was changing the filter on it. I was like, this lady is my new best friend, and we're having a game night because she looks like so much fun.
Are you going to play Dream Phone
I think
with
that
us?
Oh my gosh, yes! Right after Mall Madness, that's the thing. So I think that Ashley's a smart girl, and this meme will take her places. She'll end up on Chelsea Lately or something, talking about this facial expression. And again, I'm intrigued how she plays it up in the short or the long. But again, I just don't think that the programs are a high enough quality.
I concur.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. And it makes me wonder, because again, to just be completely ADD and go back to the men, when we were talking about Juer, how he doesn't belong in this system, he's not responding to what's required in this system. So then you kind of want to take him and his team and shake them and be like, well, why don't you just put in a quality footwork sequence then? Why don't you learn the system and do what's required? And as someone on the outside, it's easy for me to be like, Ashley, why don't you just fix the spin so it's a level 4?
It's not just the levels; it's how she performs.
It's harder than that,
But it's how she performs the spins that they're a little slow and the positions aren't great. And it's not just the spins; it's her overall skating. She does have a stiffer knee, and she doesn't get the same edge quality of some of the other girls. The one thing about Ashley is that, like, when you watch her, skating looks hard. Like, you're like, oh, that's
it lacks joy, and that's the thing. And bless her heart, Akiko.
Yeah.
Akiko, you see a joy of skating. And you know what? She didn't get around. She doubled that jump. She fell while skating the Phantom of the Opera in like a floral, whatever that was. She does wear the most interesting like 3D dresses I've ever seen. But Akiko, it doesn't matter because in the process, and that was a lovely time, and she skates. With Ashley, it looks like a job, and not in that Olympic quality, I'm going to get the job done sort of way. It's kind of like a little bit labored.
Well, she is a fan favorite now for all of her interviews over the last year. She's been in a rise. I have to say that I think that both of her programs were better last season, just choreographically. I know that
whether that was Philip Mills or John Nix or whatever, I preferred the Swan program over the Samson program. But I lack a level of sophistication in her programs.
Yeah, I heard you say something about her short program this year, what year you thought it was from, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, Hershey Pro-Am, Roz Summers, like 1994. it has that kind of like dated elegance or
Well,
dated
Roz
hip
also
style.
had the knees that made it look like work later in her career when she became a professional skater.
Later
So,
in her career after she won a silver medal.
yes.
I mean, yeah, it's yeah, I just think she missed the mark,
Yeah.
and where she left that door open for America's sweetheart Gracie is stepping in like gangbusters.
I know. It is all about that hair flip in Ashley's short program, though, that Shaylin Bourne choreography. What did you say? It was straight out of VH1, I believe I
It's
read.
VH1. That's exactly what it is. In a world of MTV, it's VH1. It's
Okay.
absolutely pop-up video, Ashley's long program and short program.
Yes. Well, I
Okay.
certainly can't wait to watch all of it. We want to know what you think. What are your predictions? How is Carolina going to do? How many candles do
I was
we
just going to say,
need?
she's the only one that could spoil it for Gracie, I think, is if Carolina delivers.
Don't
Do you
we
think
hope
she
that
will?
I don't speak of such things.
She's a gorgeous skater. You cannot deny her quality. I feel like she's going to put out a really clean short, and I hope she can keep it together for the long.
Yeah, I just hope that no one is videotaping me after she skates this year, like at Worlds last year. So, anyway, that is a video to see. But we
Okay. No, I
certainly.
want to see a video of you when Kanako wins the gold medal. We'll see how that goes. Yeah.
Well, we certainly want to know what you are thinking about the ladies' event. Are you getting excited? Is it Yulia or Yuna? What is going to happen? We will see you then. As always, we want to remind you to hold an edge, get that leg up like Yulia, and look sexy like Ashley on VH1. Bye, guys.
Hi.